just like starting anything, starting a new job, right? Especially if it is your first job, can be as nerve-wracking as it can be exciting. Okay, there's this adrenaline, you're ready to conquer, you're here, you want to do this, all this kind of thing here. So I'll be walking you through exactly what to expect and how you can stand out from day one, basically. So I'll be sharing my personal experience and those of my friends. Hello, my name is Chemaka Okebu. You're welcome to my channel. If you're new here, you're very much welcome. I would say please subscribe. I noticed that there are so many people who are frequently watching my video, but you're not subscribed to my channel. There's a red button somewhere below. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Okay, now let's talk about what to expect. I'll be using myself as an example. So, like I said, personally, I have always been amongst those hitting the ground running. You know the idea of hitting the ground running? Yeah, I've always been in that category whenever I resume. First job when I resume, I had to sit at the head office, attend to people like immediately. In fact, somebody even set me up. One of my jobs, day one, day one, it was a setup. I walked into senior management meeting with the MD. Absolutely. And the first thing the MD said was, "You're new here." I was like, "Yes, I am." Like, when did you resume? I'm like, "Today." I was like, "Oh, okay." And you know what it means. So the meeting hadn't started, right? It was just about to start. Yeah. But the only good thing is that that made me familiar with the C-suite executives of that company, which I still talk with today. But at that point in time, it wasn't, and I would say it wasn't a good experience, wasn't an honorable one. That's one. My next job, 2 weeks or thereabout into the job, I was already presenting at NPR. Ask anybody. I was already presenting at NPR. Guys, so my presentation was I was mainly on a new product, right? I'd done the presentation. I needed the management buy-in at that NPR. So just work that has been done. After all the figures and all of that, yeah. So I had to present that idea, do the presentation, all that. It was mad, but it was okay because my boss believed in me. So I carried that along. That's after practice, of course, but I carried that along because I had that trust from the people I was working with. Um, Next one, I'd resume the job, and the next thing, they act one, scene one. You know what it means that you're supposed to resume on Monday, and then they call you on Saturday or on Sunday that you are meant to be outside Lagos. What do you mean by I'm going to go outside Lagos? I don't have a laptop. Okay? Like, I don't have a laptop. What am I going to do outside Lagos? Yeah, so for me, it's always been hitting the ground running. There's usually no time for me, which brings me to the first one, work culture. Work culture differs, especially whether it's a normal corporate, right? Even within that corporate, is it a bank? Is it an insurance firm? So there's certain companies that have quite similar culture, but then even within banks, culture differs from culture. Then you have that. Then is it a startup? You know what to expect in a startup. Like, everybody is you're doing multiple things multiple times. That is how startups are modeled. Is it a remote work? Remote work, when you're resuming, maybe you're trying to meet the team virtually, you're trying to adjust into it, right? Like that. If it's a team where they send down your laptop, maybe you're going to pick your laptop, all those kind of things. And you'll find out that actually with most startups, your resumption is usually it actually usually glides, like they settle you into the system. If you're being recruited into a role where there is no handshake, the person has left and the person is handling such a large project and you're expected to step in, there is no gliding into the system. You are really welcome, really, because they'll be asking you questions. You can literally join a team and then they'll ask you a question of something you do not know, for something that has happened before. So you need to be up to date. Then respect for work-life balance. Some companies do not know what that is, so you need to try to understand that. And so a company can tell you that they do hybrid. Does your team do hybrid? So some teams don't. Some companies don't follow what is written on their paper. There's something called office policy, which is important that you know, but some companies do not follow it to the T. So you see what is office politics, you need to know how that works. And more importantly, always remember that the company would always defend itself first before you. They would first sack you before they sack your manager. Okay? Point is document everything. Sequel to our phone conversation, following our discussion, after our meeting here at the document it, because it might just save you. Even without documentation, it sometimes do not save people. Yes, I know someone who was accused. It wasn't a serious allegation, right? But yeah, it was still an accusation. And she was like, no, but I sent you an email. And even with the email, it almost did not hold water because she's more junior. So know that, especially banks, they take seniority so serious. Okay, so that's majorly it for work culture. You need to understand the company, the politics involved, the dynamics. All of those things are actually, they're just as important as every other thing, right? Is it a high pressured environment? When you come in, you would actually know if there's high pressure. Is it a company that doesn't have, where seniority is taken, like banks, like I said, take it so serious? You'll be hearing my seniors, our seniors. It's so annoying. Is it a first name organization where you're required to call someone as old as your mom by their first name, right? Know this and know this well. If the organization is operating on a first name basis, that is what you have to do. It's not a time for you to start saying, no, I cannot. Would you go back home? Right? You find out some people when you call them ma, they'll be like, sorry, what did you say? Like, sorry, I'm not your auntie. I'm not. You'll be so embarrassed. You will be so embarrassed, right? So you also want to sort of look at that. It's very very important that you understand the whole scenario. I am usually a quiet person when I resume. Like, it takes me time to make friends, interact. Some people are like, they're already, no, I can have conversations with you, but naturally as a person I am reserved, and I feel like office relationships, friendships should not be rushed. It would happen. That's how I feel. But it's okay if you're that. There are people who, when they come in, they act once in one, they already have friends. It's okay. I like to observe. Um, I like to observe the team, observe the people, and all of that. So it usually takes me more time than it would take other people, because I would want to observe before I start doing anything. But it's okay if you are that absolutely fine if you belong to that class and that category of people. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is responsibility. I think this is where most people actually get wrong. Now, your responsibility is majorly, what are you employed to do? Maybe you're employed and you've not used your two eye like this to see your JD, which is your job description, by the way, and you just know that you're a product manager. I'm going to use product because that's what I'm familiar with, so I can explain, right? You just know that you're a product manager and you know what a product manager is supposed to do. You know the products you're handling, so you know exactly what the flow is supposed to be. Okay, or you're recruited into the human resources and you already have an idea what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's payroll administration. You already have an idea what it's supposed to be because you were not employed as someone who is inexperienced, right? But if you're not employed as someone who is inexperienced, you maybe do not have an idea, but you shall know that, okay, this, I'm supposed to be doing something like this, but how, you might not know. Now, even if you're given a job description, what you might be required to do on that team might be slightly different from what the job description has said. Okay, it's like you on your CV glorifying some of the things you've done, right? It's the same way job descriptions can sort of glorify a role. That's why they tell you that when you see a job description that says the qualification MBA, this, that, you can still apply because really it's just glorified sometimes. So I'm saying that you need to know that your actual responsibility might be slightly different from what is on the job description that was issued to you. Now, more importantly, beyond your job description, what does success mean to your line manager? Draw your ear. What does success mean to your line manager and to the company at large that has employed you? See, you have a job description that has listed like 20 things. Job description nowadays can be so large, and I'm like, what the heck? right? You have a job description that is so large, large margin, everything, and you're like, what's going on here? Plenty story. Your job might just be focused on one particular line, right? The focus might just be on one particular line that is where the weight of the work is required. That's really what they employed you to do. And notice that your job might evolve. Say you're being called, you're being brought in as HR, you might end up doing HR plus admin. You say you're being brought in as a product manager, you might end up doing product scrum master and project management. You're being brought in as a business developer, yeah, biz dev. You might end up doing biz dev, sales, accounts manager, relationship manager. Yes, it happens. Even for product, you might end up doing sales. They might end up making you responsible for P&L for your product. So note this and no piece that it matters. And remember that they have an edge. You know why they have an edge? Because you're on 6 months probation. That's 6 months where you have to prove yourself prior to before you are then confirmed into that role. And being new, right? They might assign things that are outside of your job description. Yes, people can be funny, especially in teams, right? They can assign you things that are outside of your job description. For instance, you may require to take minutes, which is mainly normal because you're the newest person. Even me, without being new, I mostly take minutes in my team because my boss will say there's something my boss used to say, oh, because of Chiamaka's amazing communication skills. I hate writing minutes, very annoying. You might be required to write minutes, follow up on people. So when they get deliverables, because you've written out the deliverables and the responsible party, they might now require you to follow up on those people for their deliverables. Data analysis, strategy, you might also be required to do some of those things. So this is just to let you know that when it comes to your responsibility, it becomes dynamic. But hold your ear the way I have said it. Know what your boss expects from you because it's a large organization. You're usually lucky if your boss sees you, right? But if you're reporting to someone that reports to someone that reports to someone, it then starts dragging. But if your boss is someone who just reports directly to the ED or directly to the MD, yeah. But even away from that, because it's just because people are not on your team doesn't mean they don't have expectations from you. They're high up, you want to please them, but you need to find a balance with what your boss expects from you. Otherwise, you would be distracted. So, no, the thing is, as you have meetings with your boss, you would be very well aligned. If possible, set up a meeting with your boss. Know what you will not understand how important this thing is until it's time for your confirmation, right? You need to know exactly what your boss wants from you or what does success look like to him on the team. Because when it's time for confirmation, it could be only that thing, or you could be doing everything and you're not doing that one thing. And no matter what you do, he will keep complaining that you're not working. Why? Because you're not meeting his own expectation. At the end of the day, your KPI, your appraisal is dependent on him. Yes. So what does success look like to your boss on that role? What are you supposed to be doing? If you're doing everything you are supposed to be doing in his eyes, you will be the greatest employee ever living. It's me that is telling you. It's see tested and trusted, proven. Okay, know what your boss expects you to do. So if you're watching this video and you're currently working, do you think that's such a thing? Or are you someone who just feel like whatever my responsibility sees, that's it? Let me know in the comment section. The next one is office dynamics. See, every workplace has its dynamic. Every workplace has its own rules, social rules as well. Even if you do not want to play office politics, that's fine. But it's not an excuse not to know it. You need to know office politics. Office politics is what will make you require an approval and you know exactly who to talk to that will make every other person sign sharp sharp. Or if you need buying, you know exactly who to talk to, you know whose name to call, and you will get your work will be fast tracked. Know this and know peace. What is the makeup of your team? Who does your boss report to? Who does your boss not like? It's your business. Who is your boss? Even down to industry, who is your boss? What's the person's personality? Is the person quiet? Is the person angry? Is the person playful? Is the person social? All my life, I've worked with different kind of bosses. The social one, the playful one. I'm separating them because there are bosses that are playful, right? The ones who will not waste time to always tell you that what you're doing is wrong. The ones who will even throw you under the bus, right? In a meeting, you know that you're on your own. Your boss is in that meeting. No, like if others are saying my boss is in this meeting, don't worry, I'm covered. No before where you did, because you know that if your boss has its way, if there's problem about anything you've done, or if someone is speaking about you, your boss is going to throw you under the bus straight up. No time, no. So you need to know that dynamics, because that's what will help you. Or if you're someone who your boss will always look out for you, you also need to know, because there are times where certain dynamics, I know that my boss doesn't have my back, so I'm always keeping document. Normally I usually document. I'm always keeping things, so even when he has going to throw me under the bus, all this is coming from me, I am firing, like this is available, this is this. And then you would, because you will always hear that it was your boss that reported you straight up, or they asked him for something, and or they came to him to say, where's the proof of this? Be like, ah, no, Chamaka was the one that did it. Oh, she did it out of governance without my knowledge. Root out the email immediately. In fact, I was going to argue, and I'm like, nah, don't worry. I just rooted out where the person signed, and then I sent it. And I was like, ah, sorry, I didn't know. But yeah, you've already thrown me under the bus. So you need to know that dynamic so that you can be able to speak for yourself. And if you're someone who your boss has your back, you need to know how to handle that, how to use it, because you do not want to make a fool of your boss also as well. But it's always nice. Believe me, if your boss has your back, you don't know what the Lord has done for you. You also need to understand, is it a highly competitive team? There are certain teams that you're on where the boss makes it competitive, right? Wants that competition between you guys because they think it will foster innovation. Or is it a highly collaborative team? You need to understand that. I don't advise competition, like maybe healthy ones, but I don't really advise competition between teams. And I always say it anything that I join, I'm not in a competition with you. And it's fine for me if you want to be in a competition with me. Okay, but I just feel like I don't need to compete with you to be able to deliver, because I know I will deliver my work. And yes, I will deliver my work and I will sing my praises as well, because you don't want to keep quiet. I will deliver, I will sing my praises. And that's just, if you need my help, you come to me. I would always help you. I won't be the one that nah. We're not even working on the same thing. So what's the problem? All right. And I think also kind of people I've had on my team, my first two jobs were highly collaborative. In fact, I miss those guys from my data analyst to I miss those guys because we did brainstorm. It was all about achieve what you they try achieve. And sometimes I'm blocked and I go to them, I'm like, this thing is not working. I don't know what to do. Then we sit down and we brainstorm. These are people that have their own jobs, right? Even with the other product manager, we sit down, we brainstorm, come up with a solution, and high five. Actually, all of us build this product. I'm like, high five. And I go for presentation, mind blowing. That is the kind of environment where I thrive, right? When they have issues, they come and then we put it in, all hands on deck. This thing I'm telling you doesn't have to take us up 20 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. It could just be a discussion. It could just be them asking me continuous questions. And before you know, I've gotten the answer I require. Okay. So understand the kind of team that you're working with. This is easy for me to do because of the kind of people. There are certain people you do this with. If they'll do that presentation, submit, take the glory. Yes, you'll be like, I don't want the glory. I'm sorry to tell you, but you do. It's a workplace. They are paying you. You want the glory. It won't be funny if every single time people are taking your work and saying that they did it. So you need to find out if there are those kind of people on your team. Workplace is such a thing, a place that you will know. If there are people like that, there will always be conversations around that on the team. Okay. Also, who can you ask questions on that team? Because I realize most times, right, when you're working in a company, there's always that person within that company that knows a lot. Like where I was working before, my head of technology, ask him operations question. Ask him He knows. He knows. He knows. Even over than the operations people. So yeah, who can you ask questions on your team that will be willing to help and answer? Even though they are not willing to help and answer, who can you even ask questions so that then you know how to put it to that person to get what they want, even if it's to sweet talk the person. There are people like that, you have to sweet talk them, or just do it because you want something, right? So you need to know who to ask questions and understand seniority and hierarchy within your organization. I've said that before. Banks take this so serious. Who reports to who? Who does your boss not like? Who is against your team? It might not be so much of your business, but you need to know. Otherwise, hmm, know those to also avoid. Know those to also avoid within and outside your team. Like here, you greet them, but you do not want your gist to be with them, whether it's work gist, whether it's personal gist. Know those to avoid. Know those not to offend. Know those not to offend. I am telling you, snitches that you talk and your boss will hear, they won't call your name. Know those to avoid. Have you ever been recruited into a hot team? A hot team, maybe in terms of pressure, in terms of targets, or in terms of the brain work. Like these guys, their minds are mind blowing. It would affect you as well. The kind of people you're working with ultimately affects you. If there are people who are high achievers, they're not relaxed, okay, you would be moved to do a lot. So you need to find out if there are people who are laid back. It means you won't have more work to do. You have to encourage yourself to do more. That is even worse, right? You have to encourage yourself now to do more and all of that. So you need to understand so that you can help yourself, motivate yourself, and be better. Remember, I always say it on this channel. Remember the home you are coming from. You are not privileged. It is not your side hustle. It's your main hustle. Know how are decisions made, key influencers within your team. Do you level of approvals that you need? Before that approval, do you need to do presentation? Or is it a company where if I just get this person's buying, I've gotten others. So know who are the key stakeholders, the key influence. You can even be a stakeholder, but you're not a key influencer. Let me explain because that's very I just made a complex statement or something that the grammar isn't common. It cancels itself. There's a word for it, right? So here's what I'm saying. I am an I am a stakeholder, right, on this project. You need my buy-in. But getting my buy-in does not mean that you will get the buy-in of others, it's seven others. However, I am a stakeholder, and the moment you get my buy-in, you're very, very likely you've gotten the buy-in of others. Because once I agree, they know I am very critical. So once I agree, others are more likely to agree because I've agreed. That's a decision maker. That is a key influencer. That is also a key stakeholder. Identify those people to make your life easy. It's where two people will be looking for approval for something, and yours has gotten approval, that person has not gotten approval. It's not jazz. It has to do with relationship and understanding the environment that you work in. So develop good relationship. It is important that people like you. Yes, so I know we always say it is important that people actually like you. You need people to like you. It doesn't mean you have to go do everything beyond your power for people to like you. No. Most times if you're good at what you're doing and all of that and you speak eloquently, you realize that people like it. Especially C-suits. Yeah, and you don't have bad belly attitude, you're not a snitch, you're just a regular girl who is coming or a guy who's coming to do their job and get paid, go home. People will like you. There's a learning curve. Enjoy that learning curve, right? You're new, you don't really know what, but you need to learn within a short time. Most times enjoy it and learn the tools, the system, the company, the hierarchy, all of those things. Over time you tend to adjust, and more importantly, Google is your friend. Whatever you do not know, most times in meeting as they are talking, you can be Googling and sure you're not sharing your screenshot. But when they are saying certain things, you just join OKR, KPR, blah 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 blah. It's okay to Google, because even sometimes you're asking me questions in the meeting, I can go online and go and Google it. Okay. So it's fine, especially if you're going into tech where there are so many things that these terminologies are not generic except you're within that team. It's okay to have a piece of paper or a notebook where you write all of these things, right? And then after the meeting, when you get home, you can then sit down to find out, oh, what does this mean? What is this saying? All of that. So know it that over time you become better. A pro isn't made in a day, it's not made from day one. Just be consistent, learn, do your best, and leave the rest. Even for the rest, still they do your best, right? Okay. And over time, you just get better. Don't overcommit. They say you have 10 things to do. They say you should do, you too, you can't do, and they say timeline, you say tomorrow. You're gonna learn the hard way. I know you're scared, right? You want to impress, and you will not listen to this particular advice of don't overcommit and set boundaries. Don't worry. Somewhere along the line, you would realize don't overcommit, set boundaries as well at work, so that you can have work-life balance. If you're someone who is readily always available, they say Sunday you're there. They say do the work, you say to be ready tomorrow. All these kind of things, you would almost very likely regret it. I'm not saying don't be efficient. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't overcommit in such a way that it will be ready tomorrow. And then you can't meet up because you've told like another 10 set of people that it will be ready, some another different thing will be ready at a certain time. Now you're moving timelines. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing, because now you have to be moving the timeline small, small, right? And then you have moved timelines like 4 times. It then makes it seem like you have no idea what you're doing. So very important. There's something called an HRBP. That's your human resource business partner. Big HRBP. Yeah. So what it means is that if you have any questions, that's your contact person in HR. That's the person responsible for you. Be it about payments, that's your salary, be it about maybe adjustment, be it about your JD, be it about any question that you have, or maybe you have targets and all those kind of things, you can also ask your HR, especially the HR related questions, right? Yeah. So you have an HR professional. Some companies have bodies that can help you adjust into the system. Your body basically helps you. The only problem is that sometimes some of these bodies already have their own problem. Like they have their own burdens and they feel like you're just an extra burden to them. So sometimes they aren't so helpful. But yeah, there are all of those to help you. And it differs from company to company. Some companies don't have bodies, but some companies don't specifically have HR business partners. Especially if it's a small company, you will just have the HR managers or the HR person who you can also speak to in that regard to ask questions. And every company has a policy. Your policy ranges from dress code to benefits to like every single thing. Even there's a policy for everything. That's all I can tell you. So read your policy, know your policy. There's a policy. Everything you're thinking about, you want, your policy is most likely captured in a particular policy. Yeah, employee benefit. Oh, there's a policy for everything. Even some companies you cannot record meetings. It's in their policy. Some companies you can record meetings. Some companies you have to join 5 minutes into before the meeting. Yeah, and that's just it for this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you are watching this video and you've gotten a job and you're about to resume, congratulations to you. It's not easy. No matter the kind of job you're resuming, I know it's very much not easy. All the jitters, what you feel, absolutely fine, absolutely normal. Um, I wish you success on your first day, irrespective of what you're going through. I would love to hear your feedback on this video, what you think. If you're even a professional and you're just resuming maybe a new job, or you are not even resuming but you have advice for those that are resuming, please let us know in the comment section. Just drop your comment on some of the things your first year, first work experience or resumption experience, right? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, remember, Google is your friend. I cannot overemphasize I cannot overemphasize this. Google is your friend. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ramesh Chamakal Cable. Um, Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I would see you in my next video. For now, let's call it a day. Bye, guys.